Hi, and welcome to SPE Live and today's exclusive fireside chat with Mele Kyari, Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. My name is Nils Kaageson-Loe. It's my pleasure to be your host today. SPE Live is in part made possible by sponsorship from the SPE Foundation. Today's SPE Live is part of our ongoing conversation series with senior executive management from the oil and gas industry. And today we specifically focus on Nigeria. Nigeria, of course, a long history of oil production dating as far back as 1903. Currently, with over 160 producing fields, it is one of the world's top oil-producing nations. Also, a member of OPEC, it is the largest oil producer in Africa and holds the largest natural gas reserves on the continent. And in 2018, was the world's fifth largest exporter of liquefied natural gas. So a very significant contributor to the world market of oil and gas. Now, our special guest today, Mele Kyari, fresh from recent OPEC meetings. He's the Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation and Nigeria's national representative at OPEC. He has a long and distinguished 30-year career in Nigerian oil and gas exploration and operations. Mr. Kyari, a very warm welcome to SPE Live.
Thank you very much, Nils, and it's a very big privilege to be on this platform.
Well, it's our privilege to have you as a guest here on the show. So thank you very much for taking the time from your very busy schedule to talk with us today. Let's not waste any more time. Let's just kick off straight into what is some really good conversation. So the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, established back in the 1970s, I believe. What is NNPC today? What are your ambitions, both domestically, regionally, and globally as a company relative to other operating companies?
Thank you, Nils. You may be aware NNPC is the largest corporation in Africa in terms of assets and potential that it has. And that throws a lot of challenge at the corporation because there's a huge expectation from a resource-dependent country's point of view and from the expectation that this company is there to serve the Nigerian people. And that makes it impossible for you not to have ambition around being an international national oil company. Our peers have gone very far ahead of us, so many challenges, but today what we're looking at is to have this company transform into an international national oil company. And you can't do that except you're efficient internally, you're able to have your priorities, you're able to increase your production, your assets are grown, and of course, beyond that, you start looking for assets outside your country, and then you start operating internationally in terms of being a supplier or being an owner of assets and acquisition of assets. So this is our ambition. This company first will break even, hopefully by the end of this year, become a net delivery of value to our country. And then beyond that, we're improving our system and our processes, we're changing our portfolio, we're reshaping our portfolio, and also shifting our priorities to things that work and things that bring value. And we've seen this result coming up, and that will clearly take us into an international company. Yes, absolutely. We're a partnership with most of the major international oil companies. Today, we have large national oil, local oil companies that are working with us with potentials for working outside the country. So for us, our ambition is to take this company to the next level. We're very close to that, and the way to do it is to go international. And going international means we must be competitive, we must do the things that others are doing or beyond this, can beat the game so that at the end of the day, this company will become the pride of this country. So this is our overall objective, and at the back of all this is for us to deliver excellence to the shareholders of these companies. And that's where the TAPE agenda comes into play. What we are saying is that we become a transparent company, an accountable company, so that we can deliver and perform excellently to the pleasure of our shareholders. So once you do this, you become a global company, you become the pride of your shareholders. And this is how we
That's a very strong message there. So thank you for that, Mr. Kyari. So you mentioned growing portfolio and increasing assets. So obviously, a major part of your portfolio is the Niger Delta. So there's a long history of development there. You have a lot of experience, both shallow and very deep water and ultra deep water in the Delta region. What is the status of the latest exploration efforts and commercial finds within the Delta region? And what are the opportunities for future JOAs and JVs and similar investment opportunities?
First of all, currently we have reserve level as a country of over 37 billion barrels of proven oil and 203 trillion standard cubic feet of gas, and potentially over 600 trillion standard cubic of gas. The combination of this is a very huge resource available in this country. But you can't, if you stay there, you're not going to grow. And of course, assets will deplete, your reserve will deplete. So there isn't much of exploration work going on in the Niger Delta currently because of many reasons. One is the immediate impact of COVID-19 that existed in the territory. The combination of that has brought down the level of exploration in the Niger Delta. We are working to restore that and come back to normalcy. But more importantly, we are looking elsewhere. As our ambition as a country is to grow our reserve to at least 40 billion barrels of proven oil, and of course increase the gas assets. To do this, you have to go to frontier areas, and there are a number of frontier areas with huge potential. Currently, we have found oil in one of the least of the expected places, one of the what we call the Benue Trough. Today, we have a substantive commercial find in the Benue Trough. And then, of course, that has also led us to understand the entire territory that is in the frontier basin, and which has made us to see large potentials of reserves elsewhere within the frontier basin. And we're doing a lot of exploration work and seismics to drilling activities that is currently going on to mature some of these prospects into maturity. The frontier basins and what we know about the Niger Delta, and what is also trying to play out in the post-COVID-19. Of course, we all know that COVID-19 has huge impact on exploration anywhere in the world. And people are going back to work now, and our partners are engaging. We're trying to see how we can go back to exploration activities, particularly seismic data acquisition, drilling of some exploratory wells, so that we can increase this reserve while we do everything possible to produce the reserves that we have. Yes, this environment is changing. The priorities are changing. People are going to the right places at this point in time. But for us as the national oil company, who have seen the opportunities, we know that this growth is coming. We know that there's huge potential, even in the ultra-deep water Niger Delta, which is very little exploration has been done in the ultra-deep water. I know that by 2021, we'll go into some form of licensing activity so that we can reopen the ultra-deep water and some part of the deep water Niger Delta, and also give opportunity for looking at some of the onshore assets that have not been explored. So there are huge opportunities in 2021 going to 2022 with all its shortcomings, which are very obvious. We see a rebound of the commodity prices and also some form of relaxation on the platform of the OPEC so that people can have confidence to go back to production. And going back to production means you need to do more exploration or more production activities. And we believe very strongly that activities will pick up in 2021. Probably by the late part of 2021, but surely into 2022, we'll know the activities will pick up.
That is really great to hear. So it's really great to hear you have that perspective and those opportunities arising for future investors, and also continue your successful JVs and JOAs with the other international operating companies. So leading on from that, Nigeria has a massive energy-hungry domestic market, and neighboring nations are also developing their markets. And recently, Nigeria, with its international partners, you took very positive, strong strides towards zero offshore gas flaring with the ambition of utilizing that gas domestically. What opportunity is there for increased gas in Nigeria, and what role do you see Nigeria playing regionally within Africa in this gas energy transition space?
Thank you very much, Nils. We are a gas country rather than an oil country. Our focus has always been on producing oil, but we know that we're a gas country. We haven't focused much on it, and the end result is that we couldn't deliver much value out of our gas assets. But today we have changed our focus, and we have decided to be a gas country. A gas country means that you must find gas, you must monetize your gas. First port of call is your domestic market. This year we have declared this year of gas in our country. The meaning of this is that we're going to grow domestic consumption of gas by injecting more gas into the domestic market, into into power, into gas-based industries, and other combustion processes, so that ultimately you'll see a growth in demand for gas in our country. Our energy needs are very, very challenged today. Power supply is a big problem in our country today. The average availability of power in our country, probably 60% of the population have access to power. So we know that gas is the solution, and therefore we're supporting all build of infrastructure that will support gas into the domestic market by putting major trunk lines and facilities, so that ultimately gas comes into the domestic market and then creates all the opportunities. As we're doing this, we're also not oblivious of the fact that we have huge gas resources and that it can be exported. And to do this, of course, the whole world is aware that we're the only country who took an FID during the COVID-19 period by taking FID on the Trend 700 LNG. That means an expansion program for our LNG project. There are a number of large-scale export projects that are on the offing. We're creating some gas hub that will utilize the gas, convert them to methanol, fuel methanol, and other production streams, and ultimately we'll create that market for the export. So we're focusing on gas while we haven't lost sight of the oil. As you are aware, during the COVID-19 downturn in the global economic situation, the only industry that survived in the oil and gas industry is the gas sector. Even for us in our business, we made much more money from our gas than oil during this COVID-19. So we have learned our lesson that we know that we need to focus on gas. We need to develop our gas assets, and the future is in gas. And you can't produce gas except you have clear fiscal environment and an environment that allows private sector to put in money into gas development. This is work in progress. Even the existing structure that we have supports gas development, but we're looking forward to proper legislation. By mid of next year, we'll have our petroleum legislation in place, which will literally focus on developing domestic gas supply and infrastructure. So we see the future in gas, but of course we haven't also lost sight of the oil production. Oil is there. We know that we have huge oil resources, but as we balance our priorities, our focus is clearly on gas today.
That's really good to hear that you have those ambitions, and it's good to hear that reference to the new legislation coming up next year. So given your ambitions around gas and oil production, looking into 2021 and beyond, and also, I guess, on the back of recent OPEC discussions, what production targets is NNPC setting? What is the outlook for you guys in terms of production?
We have a national ambition to produce at least 3 million barrels per day by 2023. And this is well within sight. I can cite an example. Precisely on the 27th of April, 2020, we're able to hit 2.49 barrels per day of production. So we know that reaching 3 million barrels per day is not a tall ambition. It is something within our sight. We have a number of projects that are within our line of sight, and we know that the balance of about 500,000 can be easily delivered in country. But we're also aware of the constraint imposed by oil, resulting in the OPEC Plus intervention to see how we can curtail the excess supply into the market. We think that this will get out of our way. We know that we're part of the OPEC understanding, but we also believe that the demand will pick up, and there will be need for everyone to come back on the table to bring back more production on the table. And that's why we're working. Our partners are aware of this. We're trying to see how do we latch on this as we don't lose sight of the fact that supply needs to be cut today, but we have a line of sight in 2022, max 2023, to see how we can get back to those targets. So our projects are continuing. Our partners have lost hope. We haven't lost hope that we know that this 3 million barrels of production by 2030 the market is ready to take that in 2023. So we're doing everything to line up our production system and our facilities so that ultimately we can reach that target of 3 million barrels per day.
That's very encouraging to hear, and also a very positive growth picture that you have for NNPC and Nigeria oil and gas resources. And you have very low cost of production. So Nigeria, once again, rising. So in terms of investor confidence, Nigeria has had a turbulent history economically with regard to corporate governance. Please tell us about the new initiatives that you have around, building investor confidence in particularly around governance. So I believe it's TAPE, the TAPE initiative. Can you tell us a bit more about that, please, Mr. Kyari?
Yes, Nils. When I took over, I'm aware that there's a lot of concern in the global space and even within our country around what NNPC does on behalf of this country. We know there were a lot of trust issues between us and our partners and between us and our shareholders, which are the Nigerian people. And we knew this is very critical because of my involvement in the commodity trading engagements of the international EITI. So I knew this concern is there. I knew that we need to correct this. Of course, I can also confirm that many of those misgivings may be extreme, may be misplaced, but that's the reality that we face. So when I came on board, I said, look, what do we need to do to change this scenario? And we came up with the idea that we should be a transparent company. We should be accountable to our shareholders. And by doing this, we can also perform excellently and also deliver value to our shareholders. That's the whole concept of the TEP agenda, which is to make things open to our shareholders and our partners. And we didn't have any difficulty doing that because by natural disposition, we can get this done. And there are a number of steps that we took to make sure that this comes on the table. One of them is to publish the audited financial statement of this company. You may not be aware, but for 43 years of our existence, we have never published our audited financial statement. And we did that, and that of course threw up a lot of scrutiny from our shareholders. We're very happy about that, and our partners. It also brought back a number of significant confidence from our shareholders and also our partners. You can see, and it has opened a number of gates for us. Today, we have also published the 2019 audited financial statement of our company. We are disclosing nearly everything we are doing in this company. In fact, this is the only company anywhere in the world that publishes its monthly financial statements, its monthly performance report, and in the public space. No one does this. We are doing this and we're benefiting from this. And that throws off a number of opportunities for us. It improves on our corporate governance, we're more transparent to our shareholders. And of course, the end result is what we see today. In the financial platforms and financial sector, when we seek for financing in anywhere in the world today now, I can confirm to you that we're almost the darling of the financing industry. They believe that they know what we're doing, they know that we're honest about what we're trying to do, and ultimately issues around corporate governance have come into play. But the more important thing that happened to us is the leadership we have in the country. And of course, this is fully government-owned company. This is the only time that I can confirm to you that you have a government that didn't interfere in what we do in this company. And that the public are aware of this. And the end result today is that we are operating a company that should deliver value to shareholders, that we're able to put up a number of corporate governance controls and risk management processes that hitherto may be difficult to put in place. And today, in terms of corporate governance, if there's any ranking, I'm not aware of any ranking that they do for international oil companies or international national oil companies, but I know that we are at the bottom of it today. We are not there today, and we're very proud of this situation.
Thank you, Mr. Kyari. That is very, very encouraging to hear. Obviously, some very important and courageous steps, I will say, in changing that transparency, accountability, and performance and excellence, overall governance excellence for the company. So thank you for sharing that with us. It's very encouraging to hear. And obviously reinforces the path ahead and provides confidence to international investors in Nigeria and NNPC. So very, very good progress there. And we'll love to hear more as you progress through 2021 on that piece. Now, you mentioned many times throughout our conversation COVID-19. So it's been a plague on the planet for everybody, and in particular our industry. So how has Nigeria and the oil and gas industry successfully traversed this unprecedented challenge of COVID-19?
I think it's very obvious that nobody saw COVID-19 coming. It comes, particularly the oil and gas industry. When we faced this challenge, what we did is to come up with a business continuity plan. And of course, we're proud to say that we're the largest institution in our country that took that first step to see how can this business survive during this crisis. And of course, even our partners, even the multinational oil companies that we have in our country, I don't want to call their names, copied most of the practices that they did. What did we do? First, we started working from home, and that looks a bit natural. But for us, we're a company that hasn't tested that at any time in its life, with limited IT infrastructure, with issues around multiple locations of our workspace, and also very, very distant working relationship between our various locations, we knew that this was a huge challenge. But what we did was to scale down our presence in the office, bring up all our automation platforms on the call, and also prioritize what we need to do so that we focus on major part of our businesses that will deliver value to us. And the end result for us, it enabled us produce optimally in most of our oil fields. We're able to deliver more gas into the domestic market. We're able to actually make more money from our gas sales during this period. And of course, that's a huge learning for us as a company. We now know our priorities. We know what to focus on. And also, surviving the COVID-19 wasn't a difficulty. Yes, there's a very great crash in the price of the commodity, particularly crude oil. There's a decline in our production by very deliberate decision for us to join the OPEC Plus cuts. But overall, we survived this. We did better than we could have possibly done if we haven't taken those steps. So for us, COVID-19 is sort of a blessing in disguise because it made us see our potentials. We know our priorities. We know what to do next. And we're able to also get business to survive this period. Of course, in terms of our shareholder expectations, you will expect that we'll do what others did in the global sense. Many companies had to go begging to institutions, and even the big players in the industry, as you are aware, have gone back looking for palliatives from institutions of government. We didn't do that. We actually supported government. We're able to deliver value that is not expected at this period in time. And as a corporation, because of the actions that we took, the cut that we caused, prioritizing of our activities and making sure that we focus on the key elements of our business that will deliver value, we're able to get out of it. And proudly, we are moving into 2021 that we know that prices are galloping upwards, maybe not sustainable, but it's galloping upwards. And also, some of our gas assets are maturing into production. And doing that means, as a company, we'll do much, much better in 2021, bearing in mind that, the COVID-19 has given us a lot of things to do differently.
It's great to hear that you had such a robust and successful response to the crisis. I mean, it's an opportunity in the crisis, as you described, that you were able to leverage that and come out and have that new focus on business and priorities. And you've had a successful outcome from that, as you just said. So congratulations on that for successfully traversing this big crisis that we face globally. Mr. Kyari, I know you're a very, very busy man, so thank you for making the time to speak with us today. We really appreciate your insight and your vision for NNPC and Nigeria. Very positive and noble ambition. We wish you every success for your journey ahead through 2021. And we would love to have you back on the show later next year to hear more about your journey and successes in Nigeria and NNPC. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nils, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
So a really great conversation there with Mr. Mele Kyari from the NNPC in Nigeria. So thank you again for watching us today. Thank you to the SPE Foundation for making SPE Live possible through their sponsorship. Please find us again, catch us on social media, #SPE Live or on SPE.org. We have a lot more SPE Lives coming up in the coming weeks, so please catch us. And we look forward to seeing you again. So thank you very much. Please join us soon.